Chat stats, pop jabs, reach, who's king? Southpool switch, lead hook, chimping. Scorecards, rematch, who got rubbed fast? All on the B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the B&D Podcast with your host, Base the Kid. Look, as you guys know, Danny is currently on travels, well-deserved travels. He's up in a JA at the moment. He's in Jamaica. Could not make it today. We tried all different types of ways to work it. We was trying to do a pre-record, but the times just didn't line up for both of us. So he said, look, you're going to have to do the show. And I said, well, I can't let the people down, but it's the B&D Podcast. You can't do it with just B. So luckily for me, I reached out to a contact, someone that I actually consider a friend in the game right about now. And we've replaced the Danny for British middleweight contender Derek Osaze. Derek, man, how you doing?
Wow, I'm good, man. What an introduction. Thanks for having me on.
Mate, it's only right. You get we try and do the best around here. we make it work with what we got. But yeah, look, I know that you was training a little bit a while ago. So just how did that go, and how's everything sort of been since the last fight with Jimmy Saints?
Yeah, it's been good. Just taking over right now, to be honest. So I'm normally, give or take, after a fight, I'll probably take like a week out of the gym, maybe 2. I say take a week out of the gym. I'm not boxing, but me, like, my rest period is still probably playing 5-7 aside a couple of times a week, playing basketball. Getting to enjoy the activities I probably won't do during a camp because obviously the risk of injury and whatnot. So I say rest with an asterisk, but yeah, just taking over. I had actually a bit more time out of this time, just more so because I literally moved house the week after.
Oh, congrats.
The week after the fight. So yeah, there was no resting really, man. It was just packing up and moving. And obviously when you got kids as well, moving is just long, man. They got too much stuff. So other than that, like, training's been cool. Just been messing around in the gym, ticking over, like, body sparring today. Did a few rounds body sparring. And yeah, man, it's good to enjoy these periods when you're in the gym where you ain't got nothing penciled in, so you can just sort of like, focus on enjoying the sport a bit as well.
I hear that.
And just keeping fit. So yeah, all good, can't complain.
Okay, well, look, we're going to get into just a bit more about what's going on with you a little bit later on.
Cool.
But I think one of the things, normally what we do, we'd like to talk about the sort of the weekend's actions and stuff that's kind of going on. But there has been some news that I feel like we kind of need to talk about first off. Now, what I will say is, any bullets you don't want to take, I'm happy to take them for you because you might have a relationship you need to maintain. But
yeah, of course.
Earlier on this morning, there was a big news drop that unfortunately Lawrence Okoli returned an adverse finding via VADA for just before his fight with Tony Yoka, which is supposed to be taking place on the weekend.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of know, when you heard about it, what was your thoughts and like how did you kind of see things?
First of all, I've got to say, obviously, Lawrence is my guy. Like, he's a good friend. Like, we're not best mates. Like, we don't link up all the time, but obviously, like, every time I've seen him, it's always love, and there might be an odd message here or there. So when I saw it, I was shocked, to be fair. But you know what it is, like, I feel it's gonna sound cliche, but like, obviously, I seen he put a post out to do with obviously the injuries that he's had and stuff. What's unfortunate is that I think there are guys that have clearly taken performance-enhancing drugs and then probably try, and it shows in, their performances, the fact that they probably went from knocking out no one to knocking out everyone. They went from, being maybe just making it through fights, and then all of a sudden they've got a mad engine, the Conor Benns, the Dennis McCanns, all them guys that have been popped, that it's obvious. Lawrence, it doesn't come across as one of them, man. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think his performances or anything will reflect someone that might be on performance-enhancing drugs. You know what I'm saying? What I will say is that, like, it's unfortunate for the guys like your Conor Benz, who I think are actually like intentionally drugged, like intentionally cheated, and I can say that because like even before he got caught, I always thought, yeah, man, you went hell and back with Conor. Was it Paynard?
Cedric Payne yeah.
Paynard, and then all of a sudden you got big and just started knocking man out. You had a knockout since then. Do you know what I mean? So for him, for Okoli, but obviously, like I was saying, there are some cases where it's just something crazy. Like, if has anyone actually seen the VADA list? Like, it's mad confusing. If you're not clued up, like you might take the wrong supplement or you might have the wrong job. Like, there's even certain antihistamines you can't take as a fighter. So, not to make excuses, and maybe I'm being biased because I know him, he's my guy. But I'll be curious to see, obviously, what comes out of it. But in terms of performance enhancing, it doesn't come across to me as someone his performances will reflect someone who may be under the influence or something. Do you know what I mean? Especially since he's been at heavyweight. So, be curious to see what happens. But I think it's unfortunately in the sport we're in now, it's like, you know, you're guilty until proven innocent, and then when you're proven innocent, it's with an asterisk. So, unfortunately for him, it's going to be damaging either way. It's hard to come back from that, even if you can prove you're innocent. So,
would you know what the thing is? It's a good thing that you're on here because as you're an active boxer at the minute. So, like you said, you can actually see that VADA list and kind of how maybe confusing it might be. But I don't know if you've ever been tested via VADA yourself. Ultimately, what is the process going into camp? Like, if you have certain, whether it's supplements or medications or stuff, do you have to disclose them and then whatever's in them, they say, okay, we'll exempt you from this because it's part of your medication? Or is it just like, even if it is in your medication, if it's on the list, you can't take it regardless? How does it work?
So there's so many layers to it. Like for me, there's certain things I do. So I think the rule of thumb really is you should take products that are what are called batch tested. It's got an official stamp in it. It's called Inform for Sport. So Inform for Sport basically ensures that there isn't any cross-contamination with anything that is deemed to be illegal. And what's to understand is that what is deemed to be illegal in a sport for a particular athlete may be fine for everybody else, if that makes sense. So the rule of thumb is, for me, I try and make sure all the supplements I take are either natural or Inform for Sport approved. Keep all the bottles because each bottle has a batch number, and God forbid, even Inform for Sport say it's 99.999% safe, but that 0.001% is the small chance that it gets cross-contaminated. So you have to be aware of that. But if you're not using Inform for Sport products, right, there's like a link where you can go on like a library of everything that's banned. And it's the most confusing thing. Like, just to give you an example, like, all right, let me take, paracetamol for instance,
Yeah.
To give you an example, you'd go on there and on the ban list, there'll be paracetamol, then there'll be paracetamine, then there'll be paracetames. Do you know what I mean? It's all variations of the same drug, but you can miss one letter. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think there are honest cases where fighters, athletes, like the world number one in tennis got popped for something. You can get done for missing a test. Some of it, I think, is just not doing their due diligence. Obviously, the list change every year as well. So every year they'll send out updates. So you got to be clued up. I've been drug tested before. And the funny thing is that even when I got drug tested the first time, they don't contact you to say that you're clean. You only get contacted if they find something.
Right.
You obviously don't know what they're testing for as well. But a rule of thumb for me, I don't share water bottles. If I'm in the gym, I don't take water from anybody else. If I forget my water, unless I can buy a bottled water that's sealed, just because things like that, you don't know. And I don't know if you've seen fighters like come out of the ring and the other corner goes over and they're trying to give them water, and you see some boxers are like, no. So I think you got to do your due diligence, do your research, make sure you try and buy products that are batch tested, because even if you can show every supplement user. I mean, when I got drug tested, I had to list every supplement I was taking. And I knew every single one. I've kept the bottles. But mistakes can happen, but also you definitely do due diligence, man. Like Joe Parker got done for a recreational drug. Now, whether he was taking it himself, who knows? Was he in the midst of someone who was taking it? Like, even as for me, we're drug tested, I can get done for secondhand smoke. So I can't be around guys that are bunning or, do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you never really know, man. You never know. Like, for some people, they can find a trace. But then the trace can be like, you weren't taking it. But then how the trace get in your system? It could be that the masking agent you were taking wasn't working. So you don't even know what to believe no more, man.
No,
So
I hear it.
yeah, what to
Okay, but
believe?
then what if you're like, if you say he said that he had an elbow situation, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
they gave him some. So what would happen if like your doctor is prescribing you stuff? How does that work?
So another thing as well is like, unless you have a doctor who's clued up. So every doctor has their own speciality, innit?
Yeah,
And a lot of doctors, like GP, general practitioners, are not really sports savvy or not really in the world of like the when it comes to things like athlete testing and VADA. Do you know what I mean? So you can't expect like a general GP will actually know X, Y, Z. A general GP can provide you a steroid cream. I know, like my youngest son, he was provided a steroid cream once for like
mm,
some skin eczema, and it's like I could rub that in and I could get done for that because
yeah,
it's a steroid cream in it. So that's the only thing that springs to mind. If he's saying that he had obviously this injury, I don't know what creams they might have prescribed or what anything they might have applied to his skin that's now returned the adverse finding. So the box has to do their due diligence because, like I said, their GPs are general, and unless they're like sports science doctors, specialists,
yeah.
then it's going to be techie. But then obviously you don't want to have a doctor like the doctor who came out and was telling people how to telling
Oh,
boxers.
is his name like
That
wasn't
guy,
Doctor Umar and
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that? Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah.
the one.
Because he's quite popular around that side of Essex, in it. Where
Okay.
certain fighters are from. But
I
we
hear it.
won't go
Well,
into
I mean,
that.
I hear it. Look, I mean, when it comes to this, I want to say this, right, and I want to obviously caveat because people know I'm not Lawrence's biggest fan in terms of like his ring style, but I respect what he does. Me and his brother don't necessarily see eye to eye, but again, I got no ill will towards them.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
actually don't believe that he's done anything,
yeah, yeah,
although
yeah.
what I can say is I can't remember the name of it, but the thing that he's supposed to have popped for, I think it's something like it's called GGHB or something like that.
Mm,
But supposedly it's got this half-life of between 15 to 60 minutes. So if he's
mm,
just been tested, like let's say in the last, let's say it was probably the last month, right? If
mm-hmm.
they it's a VADA thing,
Yeah,
what if his injury was like in December or them kind of times there?
yeah,
How come he wouldn't have been popped for whatever back then? Is that to
exactly.
say that
Yeah,
there was no testing done then at all, and they've only
yeah,
just started doing some testing now? So then whatever he's been taking is been in his system for all this time. Was it in there beforehand? Is it the fact that VADA is more stringent than UCAD and maybe he hasn't had a lot of VADA testing? Like that's the thing that to me I need clarification on. So obviously he's put out a
yeah,
statement and he's like, look, I had this injury, had this procedure, and we're here now. So on the face of it, you say, all right, cool. But then when you hear about this thing with its half-life, it's not like, oh, it's something that could be in your system for a couple months. They're talking about less than an hour. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
means that it must have been something a bit more recent. So that's why I'm
Hundred
like, all right,
percent.
we need to we need to now do that due diligence. Give it, he needs his grace. He needs to be able to
Yeah,
prove
yeah,
his
yeah,
case with the people. But that's the part for me that is like, I don't know anymore. Before I
yeah,
would have said, nah, I can't really believe Lawrence is on that. But when you hear something like that, that's when it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I need to hear the facts now.
So I didn't even know that what he got popped for, but then it goes down to okay, cool. What? Okay, for instance, I know Varda would do a serious amount of testing, especially because I'm guessing that was like a ranked fight. WBC had their own, they would have their own testing for that. Obviously,
Yeah,
being that he's the number one contender for the WBC title, they would have their own sort of testing with Varda, etc. But also as well, if this whatever drug is they've found has what you explained that the let's say its range of effectiveness, what 30 minutes or an hour, what benefit does that have for him taking it if he willingly did it, hypothetically speaking? Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
Well,
we'll have to
apparently,
start.
sorry, just to cut you, because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
obviously might make it clear. It's supposed
yeah.
to be something that aids in recovery, aids can
Okay,
aid in muscle growth, and
okay,
can aid in something else. Maybe I'm not sure
okay.
if it's not nothing to do with weight. I don't think it's a weight
I
loss thing,
see.
but
And
it.
is it
So I
applied?
could see how.
Is it something that's applied to the skin, or is it like a pill?
I'm
I've
not
seen.
sure. I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
But
That
that's
would
the
be
thing. But then
interesting.
I'm thinking, if that's the case, obviously, if it's something that can aid in recovery, that would make sense because of the elbow. But if
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
something that
yeah.
can help to increase strength, maybe that's again to deal with the tendons and stuff that
Yeah, of
is
course.
inside there. So if you was to take it just before you start training, then you would have a benefit, and then it goes out your system. That's how I would look at it if I was going to be
Mm,
like critical.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
To be fair, it'll be interesting to see what makes of it. But like, yeah, like I said, Lawrence is one of them guys. He's like Marmite. You love him or you hate him. I think for me, people might hate on him because of his style and stuff. But listen, he's had a career that people will beg for in a heartbeat. He's an Olympian. He's a two-time two-weight world champion, and no one can ever take that from him, irrespective of what people say. Whether you like his style or not, whether he's entertaining to watch, he's taken something that started off as a thing for him just to get active and lose weight, and he's changed his family's life. He's probably changed his future generation's life. He's an Olympian. He's a two-time world champion at two different weights. There's guys that have worked their whole life in this sport who've been boxing since they could walk and haven't had the achievements he's had. So yeah, man, kudos to him, and I hope he can come out of this and clear his name. And it's probably just one big misunderstanding, or it's a doctor that's used the cream or prescribed something that they shouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
obviously a shame that the whole card got pulled. Obviously, took from
I
experience.
don't know if it's been pulled yet. I know that they're
No,
trying
it's
to.
been pulled. It's
Oh,
been
it's
pulled
been pulled now.
officially. Yeah, yeah. They
Oh,
put out a
snap.
statement recently. They were trying to find a last minute replacement, but now the whole card's been cancelled.
Oh crap. Okay.
Which obviously is never great because yeah, you've already lost money from camp. You spent money on sparring. You spent money in your whatever travel, nutrition and stuff, and so it's not
Yeah.
the best, especially for all the fighters on the undercard as well, being on the receiving end of things like that. So hopefully it all gets sorted, man. Hopefully all them guys who are on the card get another opportunity to box, man, and feed their families. To be honest,
Yeah, no, I mean, look, okay, look, commiserations to them, and like you said,
yeah,
I hope they get that. Because even though look, they're as a bunch of Frenchmen that most of us don't know, like you said, they got
yeah,
families, they've been putting in all that
try,
graft. They deserve a chance. They deserve
yeah,
their payday as well. So, all right, look, so we'll move off that for the time being.
yeah.
Did you watch any of the boxing over the weekend?
Yeah, I caught some of it. Actually. I'm
All
trying to
right,
remember which fights, because there was fights this weekend. Was the fights the weekend? But which fights were this weekend?
so that was Nathaniel Collins and Cristobal Llorente on Friday. Alicia Baumgardner, Bomi Ray Shin was
Yeah, I
Friday night as
saw
well.
that one.
And then Ben Whitaker and Brian Suarez on
Yeah,
Saturday.
I didn't watch the Ben Whitaker one. I knew that one would be a quick one.
Okay, okay,
I knew I'd switch it on, go toilet, and come back and the fight was done. I saw highlights of the Baumgartner one. Saw a lot of the build up and the post match press conferences and stuff. I didn't watch the Collins main event, but I did see, which fight did I see? There was an upset on that card. I think it
Oh,
was
was it Sam Gilly?
yeah, Sam Gilly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because obviously I never really heard of this Aston. Is it Aston Brown?
yeah,
But obviously I know him. Josh Taylor was bigging him up a lot on Twitter and stuff and whatnot. So I was curious to see, okay, what's my man's about, because apparently he's got a bit of a reputation. So and obviously I see that Sam Giddy got the away win. So yeah, fair play to him. But yeah, good weekend of boxing still. Obviously the weekend before that as well was a good weekend of boxing as well.
yeah.
So
All right,
active.
so let me ask you then. Forgetting the fights themselves, like you say, you didn't tune in. We obviously saw what Whitaker done, so shout out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
And he's on to bigger and better in it will be in New York on June
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
27th.
yeah.
But Alicia Baumgartner, they got the thing right. So Alicia is basically saying that she wants Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano next.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Caroline Dubois has been actively calling her out, but Alicia's
Yeah,
saying like you're not. Basically, number one, you're not ready for this fight. Number two, you ain't done enough to earn this fight.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
in that sense, in that dynamic, how do you see that? Because I wanted, let me give my sort of thought, and then I'll let you go. Just
Yeah,
I'm looking at it, and while I agree, obviously Alicia is a more accomplished. She definitely is the A side in that story. No
yeah,
issues with that. But if she's saying that that Caroline Dubois basically ain't put enough skin in the game. Can't
Yeah, yeah,
you can't
yeah.
really talk to her for right now until you go do something else. But she's calling out Amanda Serrano, who's a 7-weight, 8-time former undisputed champion, and Katie
Yeah.
Taylor, who's a 2-time, 2-division undisputed
Mm-hmm.
champion, who've all accomplished a lot more than her with
Mm-hmm.
bigger names and profiles than her.
Yeah.
Well, then how can she ultimately say, Caroline, or you got to put more skin in the game, and not expect maybe for them to say the same thing to her? Like
Yeah.
if you haven't done what they've done, how can you call them out, but then chastise someone for calling you out?
Mm-hmm.
Or saying that I'm at 130, you're at 135, but
Yeah, yeah,
Amanda
yeah.
Serrano's at 126, Tiara Brown's at
Yeah,
126, who
yeah,
you was calling out to come up to face you. Your last two opponents were both 126 pounders that came up to 130. Well, no, Jennifer Miranda was. I don't know.
mm,
Bomi is a 130. I'm not sure about Layla Boudouin. I think she may have been a 130 pounder, but
yeah,
Jennifer Miranda was a 126 that came up. So it's like, okay, so if you can bring someone up, you can't then be vexed or say that someone is wrong for trying to bring you up to their
yeah,
weight
yeah,
class,
yeah,
and then you're willing to go past that weight class
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
go to 140 for Katie Taylor. Now, don't get
yeah,
me wrong, I'm a big fan of both Alicia and Caroline, but I
yeah. Same,
can
same.
obviously disseminate my support for both to saying, all right, I don't like, because I'm a person, I don't really like hypocrites. I don't like
Yeah, yeah.
hypocrisy. It's like
Same,
if
same.
if I'm gonna do it, then it should be fair for you. But if
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it, then you shouldn't be able to either. That's the way I kind of see it. But I don't know sort
Yeah.
of your thoughts.
It comes down to money. They're both chasing the bag. I like Caroline Dubois. I think she's a really good fighter. I like, as of recent, her coming out of her shell a bit. She seems to be, enjoying other elements of the pro game now, showing a bit more of a personality. I'm all for it, especially as a young black woman. Listen, like, I feel like this whole thing of um, being happy to be here type of vibe, and the almost to stay ready, stay humble. That's kind of the box they put us man in. Do you get what I mean?
Mm.
And the moment you show it, then they say you're boring. But the moment you show a bit of character, it's like, oh. So I rate the boy, and she should be chasing that fight. One, because I think she obviously wants to be undisputed and wants to win more belts, but she also understands the business side of the game, and that's why she went with MVP. That's why she needs somebody like Jake Paul banging the drum on your behalf. That's why you need, recently now, she's come out of her shell a bit. She's speaking a lot more in the press conferences and the face to face and stuff. She's showing a bit more of a character because you understand that sells, isn't it? So she should be chasing the Baumgardner fight because Baumgardner is a bigger name than her. For women's boxing, the money's not obviously the greatest. So these guys that have won world titles, you know, they want to make sure that they're getting duly compensated for fighting. So for Dubois chasing the Baumgartner fight makes a lot of sense for her, career wise and also financially. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Then we will say with Alicia, it also makes sense for her chasing Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. Those are, other than Clarissa Shields, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor are probably the two other biggest names in women's boxing.
Yeah.
I'd say Baumgartner probably out of the top three of Shields, Taylor, and Serrano. I'd put Baumgartner a close fourth as well
Mm.
as the biggest names in women's boxing that probably generate the biggest interest. That means that they will generate bigger purses. So they're all right. I don't think any of them are wrong. Baumgartner is right to chase Amanda Serrano and chase Taylor. Even though she'll be stepping up in weight, those are probably potentially the biggest money fights and the biggest paydays for her. That's relative to her weight class. If Clarissa Shields was small in the lower weight classes and she could fight her, she would be calling her out as well.
Yeah.
But we all know that that's not a fight. That's not possible. Clarissa Shields is just too big. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the fight that would make the most noise, make the most money, of course, do you know what I mean? So I think they're both right. I understand Baumgartner. Baumgartner's based in the board. That would be a great fight boxing wise, but it just won't sell. That's what they say. And it's true because other than I don't think the US don't really follow British fighters the way like maybe us British people follow US fighters.
Well, you say that's true, but don't forget, Alicia's now. I'm not Alicia. Caroline's now been on Netflix
Yeah, true and true. But I think
and
like what you did
ESPN
with
in the
MVP
States.
recently,
Mm,
she does probably need for it to make financial sense and for her to keep raising her stock. She probably does need one or two more. She recently headlined as well, which
mm,
is good.
yeah,
But I think right now, bruv, Katie Taylor walks the streets of America. No one knows who she. A lot of people knows she said in one of her camps, like where she stays in America, she likes her because no one knows who she is.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But it is a bit
But
of a rural place, to be fair. Like it's not
yeah, to be
mainland New
fair,
York.
it's not mainland, but
Yeah,
but like so, in terms of, I'm just explaining from their perspective.
yeah,
Like the
yeah, yeah.
bar is right to chase that fight. It's the best fight for her financially, but also the best fight for her legacy wise for belts. And Baumgartner's right to chase Serrano and chase Taylor over chasing Dubois. But then you can't say Baumgartner's ducking Dubois because Serrano and Taylor are not easier fights.
Well, do you know what? But here's the thing. Here's why
Yeah,
people think that or say that she either is ducking or she's trying to put distance between that. She's
yeah,
chasing those fights, but everyone in the know kind of knows one or two things. Number one, Katie
yeah,
Taylor's got one foot out the door. She wants one more
yeah,
fight,
yeah, yeah.
go
She ready
far,
to
and
go.
that's it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Chance,
yeah.
why would she necessarily give that opportunity to Alicia when there's other people, especially Matchroom? Bear in mind, Matchroom
Yeah,
can
yeah,
bring their
yeah.
own women in or can do something like that. Alicia's with Keith Connolly. Eddie obviously don't really mess with Keith Connolly because
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
Conor
yeah,
Ben and all that stuff. So so chances are you're not going to get that fight. Then Amanda's also one foot out the door, but she's got one goal in mind before she leaves. She wants to beat Christy Martin's knockout record. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
two away. She's one away from equaling, one away from beating it. So would she really want to face Alicia, thinking
Baumgartner,
that
yeah,
I probably won't be able to knock her out? So that
yeah,
means I've got to go on an extra fight longer than I wanted to. It's one of the ones where neither of those people seem like they've got Alicia Baumgartner in their crosshairs, which is
yeah,
why it's like you're calling these people out almost knowing that the fights ain't gonna happen.
yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying? So that's
No,
the way
it, it,
it's a bit
it makes sense
like,
though. This is why I've never been like I don't think I've never my name has never ever been called. I pray for the day that someone calls me up. Never happened.
yeah,
But at the same time, I would never call him out. Listen, I'm my old manager, God rest his soul. I remember him sending me messages or screenshots from promoters like, "Oh, can you get Derek to get on social media and give this lad a call out? He's not wanting to fight." And it's like it's just not me because the whole call out thing, I feel like it has like a 1 in 50 success rate.
yeah,
Maybe 1 in 100. And you can only use the one or two examples where call outs have resulted in fights. Boxers, I think boxers that are on the whole call out thing, I think they even know what they're doing because they know to a certain extent that to make a fight, there's so many different layers to it. So you doing the call out is more to show, yeah, I'll fight anyone. Yeah,
mm,
yeah, but you know in your heart of hearts that, bro, Fury has been calling out AJ apparently for God knows how long, but he's never listen. For some reason, his pen always goes missing. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
very
To the
true.
point of where like his call outs, you don't even believe them no more. The same way you don't believe when he's retiring. You get me?
Yeah,
So I think like yeah, Dubois is right to call out Baumgartner, but Baumgartner is well within her rights to call out Serrano and Taylor because she's in that category. Maybe not the same weight, but she is a former undisputed world champion as well.
true.
So you can then say that okay, cool. Serrano, Shields, Taylor, Baumgartner in a different category. But then Dubois wants to become undisputed, so she needs to be calling out Baumgartner. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, the call outs thing is hit and miss though, because it's like when there's a call out ever, bro. To think of it, we're in 2026. AJ still hasn't fought Deontay Wilder, and AJ still hasn't fought Fury,
Yeah,
and those are two fights that should have happened ages ago.
yeah,
They've all called out each other, but nothing's ever happened. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear it.
That's any example to tell you that call outs don't mean much. Listen, I can call out Mayweather and at him every day on Instagram and Twitter. It's probably not gonna get nowhere. Do you know what
I
I
hear
mean?
it. No, no, you know
So
what? You make
yeah,
sense. That does make a lot of sense. Still, no, fair enough. Fair enough. So, all right. So moving alongside that, now we got the
yeah,
news that well, I guess it's the worst kept secret in all the boxing. But after the magical one fight, $15 million deal for Zuffa to Conor Benn to fight Regis Prograis in a 10 rounder,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
on a
yeah,
Zuffa platform, he's now
yeah,
signed a five fight, 2.5 year deal with Zuffa Boxing two
yeah.
days after the event. What's your thoughts?
Listen, like I'm not a Conor Ben fan, yeah, but people hate on him, but they would all do the same thing if in his position. He's clearly, obviously, leveraged his name and his dad's legacy to also get where he is now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like he's not the best boxer, but you have to respect anyone that gets in the ring. You have to respect anyone that is willing to put the time and dedication in. Like he's a dad as well. He's a family man. Like he does the camps. You know what I'm saying? He puts the work in. But I think the issue with Conor Ben, right? And I'll name another fighter. I'll name Campbell Hatton,
Mm.
the son of the late great Rick Hatton. God rest his soul. Now, Campbell Hatton, the difference between Campbell Hatton and Conor Ben is that one identified their privilege and said, I'm going to get my head done and do it the proper way. And the other one didn't identify their privilege and made it sound like they came from the dirt. Do you get what I mean? Conor Ben always comes across that, yeah, I've worked hard for this. No one gave me anything. No, bro, you got everything. Do you know what I'm saying? You probably went to the best schools. Like, your name afforded you the factor where you are like Conor Ben. Have to respect it. He's the best. He's the best match fighter in the world. He's matched like how they've matched him. His whole career is phenomenal because he's got multiple world champions on his resume. That on paper it looks like he's boxed some good guys, but for us that are boxing savvy, that we know you just got them at the right time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He never boxed for an area title. Never boxed English, British, and all of a sudden, he's never boxed at a weight for how many years, but he's the number one contender.
Mm.
It just tells you what boxing is. So my thing is, I'm not even mad at it because, listen, if we were all in Conor Ben's position, we would leverage that. Why not? Your dad worked hard for your name, so if you can make money off it as well, why not? So would I look him for taking 15 or whatever more? No, everyone else would do it. I think for Conor Ben, there's elements of jealousy, but I think also there's elements of, we're not saying that you have to come out and just come out and be honest about your privilege, innit? And I feel like he's done too much to make it sound like he is where he is today because of himself.
Okay.
And the difference between Campbell Hatton is that Campbell Hatton came into this and he was very honest about, he understands the fact that his name and his dad's legacy has obviously afforded him, not a shortcut, but afforded him a lot more opportunity.
Yeah.
But I rate him because he never once looked at his privilege as a shortcut. He took hard fights. He boxed for the area title twice and he lost, but I rate that because he tried to do the proper route. He did the amateur, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Conor Ben, listen, he's well within his rights to feed his family, man. I always say boxing, get as much money as you can and get out. At the end of the day, you're in the ring. The whole loyalty thing's a bit old because loyalty is only thrown around when it's of the boxer. Promoters are not required to be loyal, neither are managers. So I'm not on that whole loyal thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, they only shout loyalty when they're upset if money is not going to be split somehow. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of him, yeah, if that's gonna, well, that's probably where he should be though, isn't it? And it makes sense though, because if he's going to be there and Zuffa's not going to get sanctioned to box for the major belts, then he can stay there. And if they're going to keep paying for him to fight people like Regis Prograis, who was obviously a great fighter, but clearly past his peak, he said he wanted to pull out the fight on the day.
Yeah.
He's boxing up 10 pounds. He clearly, he's not even that he's 1 foot out the door. He's 2 feet out the door. He said himself he's ready to pull out. So I can't knock it. Listen, if I could be where Conor Ben is now, without an area title, without an English title, and be getting $15 million deals, do you know what I'm saying? And having the fights that he's had and how matched he's been, listen, I'd snap your hand off. So I hear it, but he's not my cup of tea. And I just feel like there's a lack of humility of understanding that, listen, bro, like, you're here because of the fact that you're a Ben.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But don't make it out like, you're like some rags to riches story and you came from the dirt, bro. You came from linen and silk sheets. So yeah.
So you see, when you say like, obviously, like, look, loyalty is not so much it's overrated, but it's only ever a
Yeah.
thing that the promoters and the managers,
Yeah,
and
cool.
I can understand that, and I would always tell a fighter, like, number one, do what's best for you, do what's best for your family. So in that sense, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in this particular situation, do we have to look at it slightly different because of obviously what occurred before and then basically everything else around it? Because loyalty is one thing, but it's like there's levels to loyalty, or there's levels to most promoters. Like, let's be real. Look at, as you said, Dennis McCann earlier. Right? You spoke about him. Do you think Frank Warren, George Warren, anyone from Queensbury was jumping in front of bullets for him after the adverse finding, like
Yeah.
Eddie did with Connor?
But then
So
why
is it
was
is it
Eddie
is it
doing that
about
though?
the fact that it's not so much okay, you've
Yeah,
taken this deal, but it's about, at least, look, talk to us about it. Don't just send your
yeah.
lawyer to come chat to me about how do you kind of feel about that part based on their history.
I still don't change nothing because
Okay.
listen, Eddie, I like Eddie Hearn, and this is why I've sat next to him and I said you're arguably the best promoter. I say arguably because, bro, I don't. There's no contractual obligation for me to say you're the best promoter. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, by the end of the day, the game is the game, and Eddie Hearn obviously would have stuck for him through thick or thin, for financial reasons. Probably at that time, has he invested X amount of money? Because remember, the media vehicle behind Conor Benn, the promo was a lot. I'm assuming that at the time, there would have been a lot of investment into Conor Benn. So at that time, it's almost like, I've pumped so much money into this guy, I'm going to stand by him by force. Because I need to get you through this and get you fighting again so I can make my money back.
I hear
And it
that.
makes even more sense why he would, because if all the stories are hit the fan now about him lending him money and stuff, you would want to stand by him and make sure that he fights again as well. You're trying to get your bread back. So
True.
I don't want to make it seem like, listen, I think Eddie's one of the best promoters in the world, and I think like he's great at what he does. But let's be real, I'd be lying to think that there wasn't some sort of vested or financial interest in Eddie Hearn sticking by Conor Benn, knowing that there would be a light at the end of the tunnel on him making his money back. And he did.
Yeah.
Because he stuck by him and he had two of the biggest fights with Chris Eubank Jr. And I'm sure he would have got his promoter's cut from that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm overlooking that whole, he stuck with me loyalty. Nah, man, I'm not buying that.
Do you know what's funny though? Okay, do you know what's funny? And obviously we don't know because it's they could be chatting a whole bag of shit.
Yeah.
But Eddie said that obviously outside of the money, obviously that Connor had to obviously give him back.
Yeah.
But he said that because of obviously what happened in 2000 and what was it, 22, 23 with that test, that he's actually not made money off of Connor. They've just basically made all their losses back. They've basically they broke even after the second fight. That's kind of what he's saying. He was basically waiting to make the money.
I can't believe that. I guarantee you, from them two fights, he's probably made back what he invested and a lot more. Because judging by the estimated purses that were flying around, obviously a standard promoter could be, depending on if they're on your promotion or whatnot, they co-promote, it can be anything up to 20-25%. Who knows? Do you know what I'm saying? So I think, he's made his money back. And I think, okay, if we're talking about loyalty, right, let's actually go into history. Eddie Hearn should have more loyalty to the Eubank family. Barry Hearn, wasn't Chris Eubank Sr. like one of Barry Hearn's best man or groomsman?
Yeah.
Hearns grew up with the Eubanks, you know what I'm saying? So that even says to me, okay, loyalty, you having vested interest in Conor Benn, there has to be some sort of financial reward from it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not, your family history has been with the Eubanks anyway. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but apparently they all kind of fell out, innit? Like he tried to have Junior, and then they was like, no. Apparently, like Senior asked him for an appearance fee for his the dad's thing.
I heard
like,
that.
So I mean, look, I get it, but I can imagine how like certain things, bridges get burned every day. But I guess it hurts more when you feel like you're in deep with somebody.
I think it hurts more for Eddie Hearn than it would any other businessman, because it's like, oh man, I made you who you are, but also I've lost out on potential money in the future as well.
Yeah.
Because whether we like it or not, Conor Ben hasn't achieved much in the sport to be where he is now, but because of his name, he sells. And he's always going to sell. So that's why as Zofa, I've placed that value on Conor Ben by giving him such a big contract, because he's going to not only bring whoever follows him to the sport, but he's going to bring all of his dad's fans as well. I remember like one of my boy Echo boxed on the undercard of Eubank Ben too. I remember like walking out of the arena and bare fans with the Nigel Ben. Yeah, I used to watch Nigel back in the 80s. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these fans as well will be people that follow Nigel. Do you know what I'm saying? So promoters will place a value on that, and obviously Zuffa Boxing have seen the value and they've put a price on that as yeah. So I get Eddie will be hurt because he felt like he built him up. But also, I think as a businessman, he's probably looking at the potential missed earnings as well from future fights with him. So, but yeah, the loyalty, he's been there. No, listen, miss me with that, man. Boxing's a business, man. And I've seen the ugly sides of sport to know that, listen, don't get it twisted. People will say anything in public and say anything, but really when it comes down to it, it's all about the numbers, man. It's all about the numbers and it's all about money. And money's at the center of a lot of these conversations in boxing, and that's what it is.
All right, so let me ask you a question. With Zuffa, apparently they're not doing any of the junior weight classes, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if Conor can't make 147, he reckons he can, and the metrics might say that he might just be able to make it, but ultimately that means he might have to go back to 160. You're a 160 fighter. If they called your name, is that a fight you're taking? And how do you think that fight plays out?
100%. Like my boy Echo Esteban, for years they kept pairing up his name when Conor Ben was at 147, and we spoke about that fight so many times. You know, I remember making a joke to Echo like, "Oh, bro, if he's jumping up to 160, I'm sorry, man, I might have to get to him first." Listen, 100% I take that fight because financially, it's a fight that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
it will be a career payday. Number one. Number two, I'm a bit biased. I like the Eubanks in it. I grew up on Senior. I could watch Senior, Junior. I love Junior as well. I think like he's just like man. They're just comedy gold, and I think they're just great people in general. So I'd say I'm more on the Eubank side, but also as well, I think Conor Ben's a very winnable fight, and that's not to say that he's a rubbish boxer. No, I think like he's a good boxer. He's obviously strong, not as strong as he was before. Obviously the eggs, but yeah, like it definitely be a great fight, and it even tells you because with Zuffa, obviously they're aiming for certain weight classes, and obviously for his weight class, more than his weight class is the name, and there's value on the name. Do you know what I mean? There's more value, and let me give Conor his respect as well. There's value that he's put on the Ben name with the rivalry with Eubank Jr. and stuff and the fights they had, but also that still goes down to what their fathers did. Do you know what I mean? End of the day, man, I can't knock it. Listen, if I was in Conor Ben's position, bruv, I'll be on every interview every day saying, yeah, miss me with the loyalty thing. Listen, I'm loyal to my kids. And years from now, when their school's paid for, they're not going to care about me being whatever. They're going to care about daddy. I'm happy he took that Zuffa deal. You get me? Those are the people he's going to have to face every day. So that's
I hear it. No, you know, it makes total sense. Well, we got to stop for a moment, though. I just seen big man like Ade Oladipo in the building, and he came with the £20 super chat for the channel. Appreciate you, Ade. Thank you very much for that, big man. And he also left a comment for you, Derek. He said, very unlucky in his last fight.
Yeah, you should have said that on the zone, though, man. Podcast. Ade, come on, how you can do me like that, bro? Big brother Ade, fam. Not you.
Well, you know what? Let's actually no. Let's talk about it.
I should have said it on the zone, but I hear it, bro. Protect your bag.
No, but let's talk about it. That was a fight, yeah, where a lot of people believe that you won that fight. Yeah. So, how did you when you went into the fight? 'Cause remember, me and you spoke about it beforehand. Shout, obviously, that was like I said to the people on the channel. That was one of the best interviews I've done, even though it was only a short one. But I enjoyed it more than most.
No, likewise.
But how did when you went into the fight initially, what was your thought process in terms of going into the fight? Mm-hmm. And then when you got in the fight, did things change?
No. Listen, how the fight was planned out in my head was exactly the way it went. I knew that Jimmy Saints, all respect to him, first and foremost, but I just knew that he didn't have the mustard to deal with what I've dealt with. Listen, prospects like him who have had it, who have been matched well, he's a big ticket seller. I think he sold more tickets than Lillard. They were very loud after the first maybe round or two, very quiet after, because people said that they can only hear my fans in there. There was about 50 of them in comparison to Jimmy Saints' 600, so that should tell you how quiet they were. But yeah, the fight went how I thought it would go. I knew that I would have to be, get behind a solid jab. I'd have to be a bit smart with it. Obviously, respect the fact that he's had knockouts and whatnot, but the knockouts never really fazed me because I knew that you were knocking out people you were meant to knock out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Props to Gideon. Gideon that he boxed a couple fights ago, who I wouldn't call him a journeyman, but he's a well schooled enough fighter, and he couldn't get him out of there. Do you know what I mean? I know you can come out and say, yeah, you wanted to get the rounds in, but we all know you don't get paid for overtime.
Yeah.
And you'd get them out there if you could, but you couldn't. So going into that fight, I knew straight away I was going to take away everything that he was confident in and get to him mentally. And I know that I did that because I felt like, well, he can say, yeah, he had an off day, but he had an off day. I just didn't let him do what he thought he can do, and I created a lot of doubt in his mind in those earlier rounds. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the fight went exactly how I planned it out to be. But then also knowing as well, when you're going into as the away fighter, you're like 3 or 4 rounds down anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So even with the way the fight went, calculating for being the away fighter, he's a big ticket seller. I thought, yeah, I must have done enough. Like me and my guys already celebrated. Like the security were telling my guys in the corner, like, yeah, get ready to get your photos. Then you can go up and whatnot. So obviously, it was crazy. But then seeing the public reaction to it was even more mad. I was getting sent messages left, right, and centre. Like, I had people, Jimmy Saint's own fans, messaging me, telling me, yeah, we think you won the fight. There was Jimmy Saint's fans that were close to my family in the arena and stuff. So, but I can't fault Jimmy because Jimmy's just a boxer. He does what he has to do. He's not the judge, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? But the fight went exactly how I thought it would go. I just knew that I would be a bit too seasoned for Jimmy at that time.
Now, you see, I think it was round 4. I'm not sure if it was, but it was one of them where it's like, you was basically like, you dominated the round and it looked like he clipped you with something right to the end. Was it the 4th round?
I think that was the 3rd round.
The 3rd. Okay.
Third round. I got
yeah. So when that happened, what sort of occurred to you and how was you able to like rally back afterwards? Because you showed no ill effects of it the next round, which was crazy because it looked like you was ready to go. I'm going to be real.
And the thing is, like, that was more like, it wasn't more his power or anything. It was more the fact of, like, my coach told me in the corner, I got greedy. I knew I got greedy. I was catching him up until that point and I got careless a little bit. And it was more, I stepped in and left myself open. So, of course, going to make the shot. So, but obviously with him being the home fighter, they have to gas it up. Like even if any shot he lands on the arms, they're going to shout and stuff and whatnot. And it's funny because, my fight, they haven't released any highlight videos. The full fight has not been released. And I'm not surprised because other than that one moment in the fight where that was more of a mistake on my part, he didn't have any bright moments in the fight. Like someone sent me, he posted a highlight video, just not to get onto him personally, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with the guy, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He posted a highlight video and it was just like a minute of him hitting me in the gloves, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was gonna message him and be like, bro, big man thing, I don't think this is a good enough highlight video to post. You know what I'm saying? You're not even getting the engagement that I thought you want to get on it. But yeah, for me, it was nothing. It was, okay, go back to the corner. And I was like, yeah. My coach was like, you good. So like, you got greedy there. And I said, yeah, no, I did get greedy. And then we carried on. And then I think the round after, was it the 3rd or the 4th round? We went straight back to business. And I think I won every single round after. Even that round, I won that round as well. And I think the commentators even said it, irrespective to that one shot he had at in the last minute round. But then again, it was like, it didn't change the trajectory of the fight at all. It didn't change me. And this is where, like, I think it's different for someone like myself who's a bit more experienced and has been through tough moments in fights where, you have another level of composure, which is, yeah, it's cool. You caught me that one shot, but don't change nothing. I'm gonna come back and catch you with a lot more. And
Yeah.
that's what happened in the following round. So yeah.
Do you think? I want to ask you because you haven't had a lot of knockouts here, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
clear
yeah.
that you can hit.
Yeah,
But do
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel like sometimes when you're in there, maybe you're not almost because you're in war mode, but you're not punching correctly to make the punches more impactful, and maybe that's what's costing you against the A side fighters. What do you reckon?
1,000,000%. I know that. So the thing is, like, for someone who doesn't have the knockouts to reflect, and there's so many different, moving parts to that. Like, I've not had the easiest matches. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not the fights that I've had are the fights where you're not likely to get knockouts, stuff like that. But also as well, because of the fights I've had and I've been in the away corner a few times, I don't have the time, neither the space or to be able to actually stand back and box sometimes. I've got to take the fight to them.
Yeah.
I've got to almost take the fight away from them. So it also means that in those fights, I have to almost at times use rough-ass tactics, be on the front foot. So it means that I'm not going to give myself as much time and space to really box, and you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100%, I'm fully aware that at times that goal works against me and negates power and stuff. But then also, what works in my favor is that I think what's helps me is that I don't look like someone who can punch. But I guarantee you, when I get in there, there's a reason why, yeah, I could hit them consistently, and that fight showed clearly it was bothering them because there wasn't much coming back. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's one thing. Obviously, people could talk about knockout power and having knockouts and stuff or whatnot. Does how my style play into that? I think so, but also, like, listen, you can. There are guys that have knockout records like Lidard and Sains, and you can see why though, because look at who they've boxed,
Okay.
and look at who they've knocked out, and look at who they haven't knocked out. Do you know what I'm saying? So that should tell you all you need to know in regards to that. So I don't really look into that too much, to be fair. I think people look into it a lot more because, bro, I've been getting bare messages from strength conditioning guys like, yeah. I saw your last fight, man. I want to train with you. I'm like, bro, like, no one's trying to message me to say I'll give you some sponsorship money. It's like, you want to do some new S&C? Like, no, I've got S&C. I'm good.
Yeah. I hear it. All right. Okay, so look with that then, because I know you had. It wasn't a big back and forth, but you had a little back and forth with Eddie afterwards, and he's like, "Look, yeah, it was a close fight. I thought he just about nicked it, but we'll definitely bring you back." Now, in that sense, yeah, I wanna know from your perspective because you've clearly got some aspirations on what you want to do in the game. I know the first and foremost is you want to make money for you, your sons, and all that stuff, but I'm assuming there's maybe some championships, some other stuff that you want to do to sort of crown the legacy and make sure all the sacrifice is worth it. But when you now get offered these opportunities, it's almost like you're only ever going to be the B-side. You're only ever going to be the away fighter. No one's going to now invest in you. Is that a way that you kind of are comfortable with your career playing out? Because that clearly wasn't the goal to start off with.
No, I hear it. I just see the comment of Ade. He said, I know you said it on the zone. Don't worry, Uncle Ade. I'm just joking. Don't worry. You're doing your thing now. Now, big respect to you, man. Big respect to you. But yeah, do you know what it is? It's unfortunate, isn't it? Like, even from the amateurs, I've just automatically been in this who needs him club. You know what I mean? Like, as in, I remember my old manager, Jimmy Gill, God rest his soul. He would literally, I remember the amount of fights that would get cancelled, or the amount of fights I'd say yes to and will not materialise. And at one point, I used to think, is my manager, is this guy lying to me about this guy pulled out? And I remember like being 6-0 and I won't name his name, but accepting a fight against a manager sent out a general message like, oh yeah, looking for middleweights. And this guy was 21-0, challenged for an English title. And we messaged and said, yeah, we'll take it. And I kid you not, my manager, he was like dumbfounded. He was like, Derek, you wouldn't believe. They said, yeah, they don't want to fight you. And he's like, Derek, Derek, I kid you not, I've saved the message. You know what the message said, bro? He said, oh, not that Derek, like, he's too ambitious, too busy. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I'm still like oblivious to the game. I'm 6 fights in. I'm still like, yeah, I want to go as far as I can. I want to win the title. I'm thinking, what is this? How boxing is? Man said I'm too ambitious. Then I don't know how I got this reputation. And the thing is, if you see me, I don't post training clips. I don't post trading. I don't post sparring because for some reason that has also worked against me in getting fights. I just got this reputation of just being a hard night's work.
Yeah.
Don't make fighters look good and stuff. So I'm in that who needs him club. So unfortunately, I'm only gonna get these fights. Like people talk about staying active or whatnot. I've had my 10th pro fight was September 2019. We are in April 2026 and I'm only on 17 pro fights.
Yeah.
That should tell you everything. Like, I mean, as in the times I've never pulled out a fight, never missed a fight through injury. But unfortunately, there's things that happen out of my control. I was meant to box. I missed a fight on a boxer show because of a COVID test 10 minutes before the weigh-in.
Yeah, I heard
I
about
done a
that.
test the following day. I missed a fight when the Queen passed away. I was on the undercard of Takam in Dubai. That show got pulled 5 days before. I was meant to box on the card in December. Bro, I've got a folder full of posters of fights that have never happened. Or shows have been cancelled. So it's like, man, I say stay active. It's like, brother, I'm in the gym, I'm active. But unfortunately in boxing, there's things you can't control. You know, how I happened to be in this Humanism club, I think after winning the boxing tournament, that kind of worked against me as well. Because it was like, yeah, not this Derek guy. And the amount of fights I've said yes to and not happened, I don't want to name the fighters because I feel like it's unfair on them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be their team, but we're talking like before I even boxed Lillard, Matchroom knew who I was because Matchroom offered me a few of their middleweights at the time. And I said, yeah, on some big shows, a big undercard. So I don't know what happened. I don't know where this reputation of me just being a hard night's work and stuff. And I don't know how I found myself in this Who Need You club. And yeah, it's unfortunate that I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to be in a position where, you know, I'm going to have to win one of these away fights, which I thought I did last, to be able to, you know, afford that opportunity to then have some proper backing.
Yeah.
But I think what's unfortunate in this game is that nothing's straightforward, man. Nothing that's meant to make sense anymore, you know? Like whether you won 10 ABA titles or you're a GB, it don't mean nothing. Someone who's got X amount of followers can be put ahead of you. So it's like with boxing now, the way boxing is set up for you to just, you know, do what you can, get as money as you can and get out of the sport. Like for me, I've always said boxing, I will not allow boxing to turn me into someone that I'll look in the mirror and I'll be upset at who's looking back at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come out of the sport with all my faculties intact. But I'm going to come out of the sport knowing I'm not having no regrets or I'm not created some alternate personality that a lot of boxers do. Some boxers don't even know who they are really.
Yeah.
Some boxers are stuck in between their real selves and alter egos. You know what I'm saying? That's why like there's some boxers that I can't really mess with until you retire because right now I like you as an individual, but I don't like your alter ego. Do you know what I'm saying? Some guys don't even know who they are. So yeah, unfortunately I'm in that category. I didn't choose to be there, but obviously I'm guessing that's probably down to with me, my style, how I fight and stuff. And yeah, it is what it is, man. So I'll go as far as the sport will allow me to go. Do you know what I mean? So and yeah, Eddie Hearn obviously it's funny because I don't think I've ever seen Eddie get defensive about a decision. The man was in my comments like, yeah. And you know what's funny? Matchroom treat me like I'm one of their signed fighters. As in, I have to give them props. Like, every time I box in their shows, they treat me like you'd think that I'm contracted to them. Do you know what I'm saying? As in, like, even when I see a lot of the guys who from the last time, it's like everyone's so nice as far as the people that sort out tickets, stuff like that. And almost in a way, like, it's like, yeah, you don't treat me so good, but even still, but I don't want to come and just get shafted. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good, you lot giving me nice treatment, putting me in nice hotels before the fight and stuff, and being all cool. And let's not get it twisted. Matchroom, they do their thing properly. But yeah, like I said to Eddie, listen, if I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not gonna be like your acid test for your middleweight. So if that's what it's gonna be, then yeah, not really interested. Do you know what I'm saying? I know they said they'll have me on again and stuff, but if it's just to come on and be 5 rounds down and win the fight and still not win the fight, what's the point? Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and I think for a lot of people, like since this fight, for some people it's enough to feel good. Oh, Derek, don't worry, we know what happened. We know you won that fight, and yeah, it's all good, but end of the day, 3 weeks later, a month later, people are not going to remember that. They're just going to remember the L.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
remember the
So,
L and the fact that now your purse drops down because there's another L on the record.
also, not only the belts, which wasn't really a thing for me, I found that 10 minutes before the fight, I was getting warmed up when the Commonwealth supervisor came in and said it's for the Commonwealth as well. I was like, oh, is it? I didn't know. No one told me. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh yeah, cool, but it don't change nothing. But it was the fact of like the missed opportunities with further fights as well, the doors that open, sponsorship stuff. So it has a knock-on effect, but at the same time, it's like, what can you do? You can only. I made a decision a long time ago, not just in sport and life, but you don't waste your energy focusing on things that you have no control over. I don't have no control over the judge. What I do have control over is keeping my head down, making sure I'm in the best possible shape and performing. Was I in the best possible shape? Yes. Did I perform? Yes. I'm not the judges. I'm not Matchroom. So yeah, honestly, we'll go as far as I can go. And when that day comes and I'm ready to bow out from a sport, I'll bow out and I'll be proud regardless, because I know that, I have no regrets and I stay true to myself. But yeah, it's a funny place to be in, innit? It's a funny one, and it's business, innit? Jimmy Sains is a big ticket seller, so I think they want to keep that contingent in East London so they can keep selling out the copper box, innit? So
I hear that. All right, so look, quick question regarding that then. Like
yeah.
you said you're kind of always kind of busy in the gym. What's the shortest notice period of a fight that you would like be willing to accept that you can still be in your best shape to
I think that I took a fight on 10 days, which was
Okay.
crazy. I took a fight on the Pulev undercard in Bulgaria in March 2024, which was probably crazy. That was like 10 days notice at a catch weight. But yeah, like I remember, and obviously, unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast of the kind of category I'm in. Without a major promoter, you relatively need to stay fit and sharp. I'm in the same camp as amazing fighters like Echo Esserman, where it's like we're always sparring, we're always training, so we keep a relatively good level of fitness to the point of where, if a fight does come within a few weeks and our weight is, manageable, then we can. So yeah, like I've taken the fight on 10 days notice, and that was an international fight as well.
Okay.
On a great pool of undercard in Bulgaria. So yeah, as and when, like I said, saying yes to fights and fights happening is a different thing. I've said yes to fights. I've agreed purses, and it's been like, oh yeah, not Derek. Oh yeah, nah. Anybody else? And like I've been told, oh Derek, they went with the cheaper option, or they went with the easier option. Do you know what I mean? Like the Saints fight, it's not the first time it got offered to me. It got offered to me last year as well. We said yes, so I was a bit even baffled. I would argue that the Saints fight wasn't one that Saints and his team wanted. I think it was one that was forced upon them by the powers that be at Matchroom. Do you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, yeah, same gym. Because if Lillard, who's like the poster boy of your gym, had a hard night's work, and even that one, arguably, some people thought I nicked that one. I had some guys in China who scored it messaging me on their page telling me, yeah, they scored at me. But like, and he's meant to be obviously the marquee fighter in that gym. Why would you then see him go, to hell and back in that fight and then want to push your next middleweight in? It doesn't make sense. So clearly, well, to Matchroom, it seems that I offer value for money, even I hate that term. So that's kind of why they want the fight. Because like I said, we were offered the Jimmy Saints fight last year and I said yes, it materialised this year. That's no slight on Jimmy, because like I said, I understand how boxing works. He may not even be here about when fights get offered to him, and he's a fighting man, so he probably will fight. But yeah, down to the teams, I don't think the team really wanted that fight. And this is why I don't think a rematch. Mr. Eddie Hearn loves a rematch clause, isn't it? A rematch. Listen, I ain't heard rematch. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
No highlights. There was no post-match interview. It was very interesting still. But it's what it is, man. We move.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna say a big thank you, obviously, for coming on today. It's been great. It's been a great chat.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of
Honestly, I don't do a lot of these interviews and stuff because I feel like you get the same. I don't know. Some people post that recently about Matchroom talking about like the guys that get pressing. I think I mentioned to you the last interview. There's I feel like some of the guys that get accreditation to come to these boxing events are just like fans who started an Instagram page last week and then they get
Well, before our interview, there was a brother that was literally
Bro.
that.
Man put his camera in my face and said, "Start asking me questions." He didn't even say,
And he
"Alright,
said,
cool,
shout out
start
your channel. And he didn't even tell you what the channel
Tell me the
was.
channel." And I was just like, "Oh man!" So when I saw that thing that Matthew put out about, I said, "Oh, do you know what? It makes sense because that could never happen in football, innit? Imagine because I like Man United, I just start a football page and I get accreditation so I can be around all the players. But no, kudos to you, bro, because like there's a genuine nature in which that you run your channel and you know having these conversations. It doesn't feel like an interview. You know what I'm saying? So no, respect to you because there's not many of this, and from the fact you got man like Ade showing love and respect as well, who's someone who probably have you know a well informed opinion on you know quality people in the boxing media, and the fact that he gives you your flowers as well, man, 100%. So it's an honor to be on this, man. I really enjoyed this.
No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. But look, tell the people where they can find you. If anyone who's not obviously signed up to any of your platforms, tell them where they can follow you, what everything that you're doing. Like, let me know.
But yeah, I'm literally Derek Osaze, I'm Delboy Osaze and everything. Mainly on Instagram, but I'm on Twitter. I recently got a TikTok account, but I feel like an old man when it comes to that platform, you know. But
Same.
but yeah, man, anyone support, do you know what I mean? I'm in the middle of a house rental now, so if anyone's like wants to come and chuck some free bricks or plastering or all that stuff, yeah, come.
Yeah,
But no, on a
we
real,
need the sponsorships, Derek. We need the
for real.
sponsorships.
But on a real though, what I will say is the amount of people that went out of their way, people that I don't even know, like my inbox was flooded with messages from people that I don't know from Adam, sending their love and telling me about the fight and stuff, and seeing all the reactions on Twitter. I was seeing podcast videos. Like Dave Allen made a video. I know obviously Ade made his video. I know Andy Clark, Rob Tebber. Like these are guys that are respected figures in boxing. You know, there was like a massive, like almost I was a bit taken aback about the overwhelming support. Do you know what I mean from people going out of their way to even message me and stuff. So nah, as much as I say that obviously doesn't change the outcome of the fight, it does. It makes me feel very appreciative of people going out of their way to do that. So yeah, man, I just say yeah, keep for all the people that have been rocking with me up until now, man, love, man, and yeah, keep supporting and yeah, man. You can find me Derek Osaze everywhere, innit? But yeah, God bless you all, man. Honestly,
Yeah, man. Look,
God
everyone,
bless you, bro, man.
thank you. Look, Delboy Osaze, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. But don't worry about the TikTok. You probably ain't gonna be on
Everywhere,
there too
Snapchat,
much.
Facebook, yeah, everywhere, bro. I'm on LinkedIn. Don't worry, I got a Wikipedia page and all that stuff.
All right. Well, look, with that being said, thank you for tuning in, everyone. We're going to leave this one now. It's getting late. People deserve their bed. So appreciate you. Derek, appreciate you. We're going to chat. But everyone else, Danny will be back next week. And yeah, we're going to keep up the good vibes. We're going to keep up the content and the quality. Appreciate you all, but have a good night.
Chat stacks, pop jabs, reach, who's king? Southpaw switch, lead hook, chin ping. Scorecards, rematch, who got rubbed fast, all on the B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast. It's the B&D Podcast. Big clash, rounds, belts, big gas, lock it. The B&D Podcast.